Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to join Aaron, who's come all the way from Austin, Texas to be with us with his fantastic film, Existing Patient. Let's take another clip.
Ma'am, I hear you. And I hate to say this, but it is late enough now that I'm not sure who I could talk to about this. I don't think we can get this resolved tonight.
Are you serious? I'm only calling this late because y'all told me I had to wait till 9:45 before you know if it was picked up or not. Okay, so now you're telling me that you don't know if it's shipped and you can't ask anyone. Okay.
Aaron, firstly, welcome to the NewFilmmakers LA family.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming from Austin to be with us.
I'm happy to be here. It feels like a family. It really has been a wonderful experience where I have this closeness with all the filmmakers we screened with that feels really special and unique to this festival. It's been great.
Oh, good. You got a very special group of filmmakers in the block as well, so really great. Well, listen, we're so thankful you brought your film to us, Existing Patient.
Yeah, thank you for screening it,
Brilliant film. I've got a lot of questions. For those that haven't seen it, tell us a little bit about the film.
Yeah, it's about a woman who is chronically ill and is fighting to get her medication both approved by her insurance company and then once that happens, actually shipped from her specialty pharmacy, jumping through bureaucratic hoops, and then also sort of facing a miasma of stock footage, interstitials, all of the happy, smiling people, in all of these stock situations that you see on the websites for the insurance companies, and, sort of contrasting that faux happiness and what these companies promise you with the day-to-day reality of managing a chronic illness and our wonderful healthcare system in the United States.
Yeah, really, right? It's a brilliant idea, and I often wonder when I see those like very cheesy commercials, and I'm like, they make it out like your whole life is going to be amazing. They give all this blueprint, and then but it was nice because you took the perspective of this character that listen, she really needed her medication, and all the loopholes and how difficult and just this like, I can't get through to these people, I need my medication. You really I think probably had a lot of people who have been through that experience. You're told what was like beyond the surfaces. Yeah. Really great idea. Where did this sort of idea for the story come about for you?
A lot of it is based on not necessarily personal experiences, but stuff that I've seen my wife go through. Yeah. And so a lot of it, she's sick of watching the movie because so much of it is sort of ripped from those experiences. And, just that awful Kafka-esque sort of full of catch-22, sort of series of holes you can find yourself falling into where you just seem stuck. No one is really incentivized to help you, to push you on to what's actually going to get this resolved. It always seems like in these situations, the system is set up for the least amount of accountability, the least amount of help. And so I think, I really wanted to lock in on this character who is going through something that seems relatively impersonal and kind of excruciating, and if you're on hold, sometimes boring, but is also some of the most important stuff in her life, trying to manage her chronic illness and maybe get to a better place with that.
Thank you firstly for I'm sure your wife is very happy that you made this film to kind of, emphasize what she was going through as well. I really love this character that you developed, and it was lovely because she was in the audience last night as well.
She's amazing. I got so lucky.
So good, isn't she?
And she's someone I've been lucky enough to know as a friend for years, and really had her in mind when I wrote this project. And she brought a lot to it as well. Jen, unfortunately, also suffers from chronic illness. And so there's a lot. I really couldn't have done it to the same level of authenticity without her. And that's, she's more than just, a bit of representation. She's awesome in the tonal control, her moments of levity. She's trained as a comic actress as well.
She's so funny.
So it was really working with her on it was an absolute joy, and it really makes me feel lucky because I realize that she's the center of it. If she wasn't that great, the movie wouldn't be that great.
No, I mean, especially, you've got literally conversations on the phone, right? Which we've all been there on this loose end, but she's so entertaining, and she really is very funny. Like, she has these the things she does with she's a comedian, so she's really very good. How was it like, what was it kind of the working relationship? Because I mean, it's really nice that you had someone lead in that role that can really relate to this character, but B, you had someone who's obviously a brilliant actor as well, and very comedically very funny. What was your kind of process working with you as a director to actor relationship?
Yeah, I mean, she's wonderful. I really couldn't ask for much more in terms of a collaborator. And, you know, she thinks about story as well and knows the sort of movements we're trying to take on. But I think what I wanted to create with her was a space where she could be vulnerable and sell the emotional ride of it and the sort of the desperation, and then ultimately a little bit of triumph. It's nothing huge, but, you know, it's sort of those moments of hope that you sort of try to take away in a bad situation. But, you know, working with Jen, it felt so easy. You know, we played around a little. We tried some things that didn't make it, but I think that's a part of the process. And yeah, it was, I'm really feeling like, you know, going through this journey with her, we made things together like 10 years ago that never saw the light of day. So it's good to, you know, sort of have a full circle moment with that. And I'll always be thankful that we found each other as friends even before this. So,
no, amazing. I you know, again, I think you kind of alluded it in the beginning as well, really, but there's it's so complicated to be able to, you know, and I think given the fact we had this particular program as well, which highlights kind of difficulty or just access, right, or accessibility. You know, this was obviously an example of that. I mean, we've all been on the phone to people, but you have to almost, you know, hope for the right person that you're going to come across. And it's sometimes down to the actual the person that you connect with on the phone that can get the job done for you. Were you trying to show some of the flaws in the system or something?
Yeah, definitely.
Because you definitely, like, it was like, you know, people have been there for sure.
Yeah, and, you know, I think going back to Jen's performance, I think after having made it, it's almost easy to take for granted that we found drama there, that we were able to make it somewhat compelling. You know, I think it was a really big challenge to put in front of her to say, you know, these people, they weren't in the room even reading with her. We had a reader just giving her lines. And so to be able to sell all of that. And I think, you know, ultimately having that human element and having a way, you know, through her face, through her wonderful performance to be able to experience those things with her. I think that's what makes it a journey that thankfully we've had audiences that are happy to take. I guess happy is maybe not the right word, but
what's the audience reaction been like for you? How's it been taken? I mean, we loved it at the film festival. How's the experience been like for you?
It's really been a wonderful experience. I think as an independent filmmaker, you're pushing up the boulder up the hill, you know, by yourself a lot or with your, you know, with your team. But it is nice to get a little bit of validation, a little bit of good feedback. And especially the disability focused festivals we've played have been such a positive experience. The responses we've gotten have been such sincere connection. And I think, as I said, this movie came out of personal experience. So I think I was very in my own head about it and didn't even really imagine the audience that much while I was making it. So to have those kinds of experiences is, as an artist, super fulfilling. But you do also feel anytime somebody comes up to me and is like, I really relate to this. You're kind of like, oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. Well, it's great. I think it's great to show a platform and shine a light on this experience as well. Maybe you can just send it all to the pharmaceutical companies. Just saying.
Yes. Right? You know, if I thought they'd listen, I don't know.
we'll just post it in the mail. It's okay. We'll do it with you. What is next for you?
Yeah. So I am developing a couple features. One is similar to this. One of the great experiences of going to these different disability festivals was all the different ways that filmmakers, you know, include this subject matter and, you know, at different sort of ratios in comparison to the other story elements. So I would like to tease out some of the elements that are in this short, work with Jen again. We have sort of a Christmas motif in the movie that for me, was practical because I'm making a movie with no money. It's like, what do I have around for set deck? I had Christmas decorations in my shed. And then also wanting to delineate time passing a little bit. But the truth is that I love like holiday rom-coms. So I'm sort of developing like, what does it look like for a character like Jen was playing in this movie to be in that space. And then, hoping to maybe push the harder stuff to the edges to acknowledge it, but to have a little more fun in a sort of genre wrapper.
Amazing.
And then, I'm developing also a slasher feature.
From holiday to slasher. I love it.
I'm pretty omnivorous when it comes to my movie tastes, and definitely like to dip my toes in the genre pool. So, and I think too, like, this has been a lovely experience, and we found such a wonderful audience. But I think when I think about what I like in a feature going experience, I do enjoy when there's a balance there of a little bit of the flash, a little bit of the spectacle of movie going, along with whatever human journey you're trying to go on.
I love it. Well, wherever you're taking us, we're ready for the holiday movie, ready to hide behind the duvet as well.
That's
so
right.
Whatever you bring to us next, Aaron.
Thank you.
And just finally, any advice as a filmmaker for any of our filmmaking audience? Any advice that you kind of go by as an artist that helps you in your journey creatively?
I think for me, what I have enjoyed most about being in the film industry is the community that I've been able to foster. And, this movie was made with a very small crew with basically my same friends I've been making movies with, for 15 years. And I think that journey, going on that together, has been meaningful regardless of any sort of outside validation, regardless of as wonderful and primary and important as the audience is, like even beyond that. So, I think this has been a wonderful experience at New Filmmakers and our whole film festival journey with Existing Patient. But, I think in some ways that kind of stuff is out of your control. And so having those artistic collaborations over a long period of time and like growing as people together has been wonderful. So I would say to, put your focus on that if you can, if you're lucky enough to be able to find that community. And, I think what I found with Existing Patient is that I set out to tell a story simply because I was hugely frustrated, hugely upset, and trying to wrap my head around this cruel system that made me feel very helpless, let alone what my wife might have been going through. But in drilling down on that personal story, what I found is that it's quite universal. And so I think that's through specificity is how I think we reach that universality is like, whatever's happening to you, or not necessarily happening to you, whatever you see in the world that you want to focus on and illuminate, do it with specificity and passion, and the audience will find you.
That is so true, and we rarely hear that. But thank you very much for sharing, and thank you, Aaron, for bringing your film to us, Existing Patient. We're ready for the next project, so just keep bringing it back to us.
Thank you, and this whole experience has been a big boost. I mean, talking to y'all, talking to the other filmmakers, it feels great, and I feel super pumped and ready to do the next thing in a way I, maybe wasn't 6 months ago. When we were trying, pushing this ball up the hill.
Oh, fantastic. That's really good to hear. We are the Energizer Bunny for you.
That's right.
And we're your community here as well. So thank you so much for being here and coming from Texas, and really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Aaron, everybody.
Thank you.